Yo, what up guys, it's JD Reviews back with another action figure review. I'm excited to bring you this Marvel Legends Fox Series X-Men 2-pack. It's featuring Magneto and Professor X. So here's a look at the front of the packaging. You have a nice window display. So this is pretty much what you'll see on the shelves if you happen to see this. And we'll just take a quick look at the back. Right here on the left and right, we have Professor X and Magneto decked out in kind of a silhouette artwork. And I really enjoy the change of box art that we're getting with some of the 2-packs lately and some of the newer figures coming out. It's really cool to see Hasbro experiment, but I'm eager to crack this open, so let's go ahead and do that right now. Alright guys, so we're going to take a look at Professor X first, and here he is seated in his biggest accessory, which happens to be his signature wheelchair. And to put the wheels on, you get packaged with this little plastic rod down here in the middle, and you kind of insert that within the wheelchair base, and the wheels have little holes in there so you can kind of plug them in. They hold with friction, they don't really snap in, but Professor X can successfully do all the wheelies that he wants, which is pretty dope. And right out of the packaging, we have the James McAvoy younger counterpart for Charles. This is pretty nice. The likeness isn't really all there. I think from certain angles it can kind of work, like at this little quarter angle right here. But for the most part, I don't really see it. The photo tech is looking really nice though. I like the realism as a human being. Like, I'm sure you can pass this off as another type of character. But James McAvoy, I don't know. I'm not too fond of the head sculpt. And now that we have him zoomed in here, we can take a look at that newer torso piece that's attached to a very familiar body that we see all the time, which is why I pretty much have him posed here. I don't plan to talk about this guy too long. And it has some nice brown paint there for the tie, some nice brown paint there for the little handkerchief, and a little blue vest, very light blue with no buttons sculpted on it, which seems to be very odd to me. And then for the wheelchair, we pretty much just have this flat kind of molded silver gray with the black around the front wheels and the black rubber around the wheels at the bottom of the base. And then we have the brown kind of leather seat thing that we got going on there. So that's pretty much Charles, nothing kind of special about that. So we'll take a quick look at his accessories that he comes with. Alright guys, so here's taking a look at Professor X's second accessory. This is the older counterpart portrayed by Patrick Stewart, and I think the photorealism technology works a little bit better on this head sculpt. The only unfortunate thing is with all the head sculpts on pretty much this whole 2-pack is they kind of sit just a tad bit high, and it kind of gives it this weird kind of indentation back here in the back, just a little raised. It doesn't sit on there too well. But from the front, it doesn't, distract you too much, so it's not too bad. I believe the SDCC Charles that comes in the Logan 2-pack portrays Patrick Stewart just a tad bit better, but I haven't seen that in hand, and I do have that on the way in the mail right now. So I'm excited to take a look at that pack and get that review for you guys as well. But nonetheless, this figure with this head sculpt is my preferred look, although I would have preferred just a tad bit darker of a suit, maybe a darker navy would have looked nice, but this looks okay. So let's take a look at the rest of the accessories. Next accessory, he pretty much has kind of these mind-bending hands, and they peg into the wrist really well. I don't have any issues there. They're sculpted nicely. They match the skin tone perfectly with the head sculpt on the neck. And yeah, this is a nice accessory for Charles. So let's take a look at his last accessory, and then we'll move into Magneto. For his last accessory, which is actually the one he comes packaged with, is the kind of telekinesis or mind-reading gesture hand that pegs into the right wrist over here. And I have no complaints about that. It pegs in and it can touch his forehead with no problem, and I think that looks great. So no issues there. So now let's take a closer look at Magneto. Alright guys, so here's the second figure from the set, which is Magneto, and he has the younger counterpart portrayed by Michael Fassbender, and I think the likeness here is pretty well done. I wouldn't say it's dead on to the actor, but I think also from certain angles, kind of just like the McAvoy head sculpt, you can kind of pull it off. I do like the matte flesh tone, and just the paint in the hair looks really dope. You can kind of see his eyes there. This one's looking straight on, and his lips painted on. And then if we look down at the body, all this stuff is pretty new. I don't believe there's any shared pieces, even coming down to the boots, with anything that Marvel Legends has put out just yet. We do have some nice texturing to the shoulder and the upper arms on both sides and up here on the chest. And then we have this nice kind of copper maroonish metallic chest armor and some abdomen armor with some nice matte black in there, and this nice V shape. And then you can kind of see the cape up here has two little kind of copper pieces painted there. And if we swing here on the back, I'm hoping that my camera can pick up this texture for you guys, because this is really well done. Although this is not a cloth cape, I think this is really nice. And I like the kind of split right there at the angle, which looks pretty dope, and it's kind of wavy, and it kind of just pegs in here to the back. And if you look at the back, it kind of carries on with that same textured cloth kind of vibe they're going for, and that just pegs in there like that. Like I said, I think the neck peg sits pretty high, but this one's not as bad as the Xavier in my opinion. And then if you come down here to the pants, he kind of has some nice texturing, kind of all this one uniform color from the knee up, but from the boots down it's kind of glossy, just like the gloves. They look pretty good. That's all new sculpt. And then coming down here to the boots again, yeah, it's not too bad of a figure. I really like the sculpt work on it. It's all brand new, so you can't complain. They give you kind of a bargain here, and he comes with a lot of dope accessories in my opinion. So let's take a look at those accessories now that we talked about them, and then we'll get some quick articulation on this guy. I'm not going to go over the Professor X because we've pretty much seen that body mold countless times, but we will go over this guy briefly and then do some quick size comparisons. Okay, so taking a look at his first accessory, he comes with the helmeted version of Michael Fassbender head sculpt with a nice grinning expression on it. Mine happens to be looking a little bit to the left. Let me know if your guys's comes out straight on or not. I'm not mad at it. It gives it a different kind of look to it, but I think this one is really well done. I like the kind of iron cast work, sculpt work they put into the back of his head with the helmet, and the nice paint texture they put in there looks really good. I think they killed it with the helmet portion. So yeah, we'll take a look at the rest of the head sculpt. And for his older counterpart, we have the Magneto portrayed by Ian McKellen. And I personally like this head sculpt the best. I think it fits on the neck the best. It sits on there really nice. The photorealism on this one looks a lot more like the actor than I think the other ones do, in my personal opinion. He comes with the Ian McKellen head with the helmet on, so this looks pretty nice. It has a nice reflective kind of maroon color to it, and it's sculpted there on the back. You have the little points that come up, and then you can see kind of the head sculpt in there with the nice photorealism to it as well. And he has some black paint around the perimeter up here, so that looks pretty good. And this is kind of a flexible material, so I believe in the movie these were kind of a little bit more out, but they tend to kind of be flush with the face a little bit, so you can kind of warm that up. So now we'll take a quick look at the hands that he comes with, and we'll get into the articulation. Alright, so he does come packaged with one of the fists already on the body itself, and then you have to pop on the other fist if you want him with both hands kind of in this position. They do fit really nicely. They match the glossiness of the black glove really well. And he comes with one more set of hands that we'll take a quick look at right now. So here he is with the other set of hands that he comes with, which is kind of portraying his power, which is grabbing the metal or kind of bending it, using kind of a magnetism or whatever. And they fit on the body, you know, consistent with the other ones. They fit on there really nicely. It has a nice glossy look to it, and some nice character in the positioning of the hands. So I really enjoy these for Magneto. It gives it a lot of character. Some kind of effects would have been cool, maybe some nice purple effects. I don't know. I don't remember if he had anything like that come off his wrist in the movie or not, but yeah, this is the last set of accessories for in here. So now we'll get into the articulation. All right, so jumping into the articulation, we're going to start up here at the head, and this can go back without the cape hindering it at all. It can go up that far, and then it can come down about that far, and then it kind of gets stopped right here at the cape. So yeah, it's pretty good. And then right here at the shoulders are a little bit stiff, but he can go up about this much. And then he does have the upper bicep swivel, and then he has the double jointed elbows. It can go up pretty much 90 degrees, and then all his hands pretty much have that up and down kind of movement, and then they do swivel. That's kind of normal for Marvel Legends. And then up here, he kind of has that diaphragm joint, so it kind of moves freely. So he can kind of, he doesn't go forward too much. He goes back a little bit more, and then he can kind of tilt side to side, and then you can get some spinning out of that, which is pretty good. He does not have a lower waist joint. That's unfortunate. He does have the T-jointed hips, so his legs can go out pretty much all the way up off the ground, and he can go back not much because the sculpt work right here. And then he has the double jointed knees, which works well. He does have the upper thigh swivel. Oh yeah, he does have boot rotation right here, so that's pretty cool. Nice little surprise for me. I thought that was one seamless sculpt by mistake. So yeah, he has the swivel there, and then he has he can go up about that much. He can come down really far back, and then he has a nice ankle pivot that we've come to know on Marvel Legends nowadays. So let's be thankful for ankle pivot, because there was a point in time where we just had the damn peg go up and down. Anyways, yeah, he articulates pretty well for Magneto. No complaints there. You're not going to have him in too many dynamic poses other than kind of floating there with his hands displayed out. So works really well. So let's do some very quick size comparisons, and then we'll close out this review. All right, so a fun little reference that I wanted to throw in here was the Mafex Spider-Man. This one is the comic special color variation, but just a reference again, because a lot of you guys either have seen this figure or have this figure. So for you guys to get a good scale between Magneto and Professor X, here's a good figure for you to look at. And for Professor X, he's most likely going to be seated here in the wheelchair, so you can kind of see what Magneto looks like next to him while he's sitting down. And then we'll take Mafex Spider-Man out, and we'll bring in the Caliban Build-A-Figure Marvel Legends Beast. This is the comic book X-Men character right here, but just to get another quick little reference for you guys to see the size comparison. And we'll take one more size comparison. Here's the Mandalorian, the first edition one that I had lying around, just to get another quick reference. Again, this is a figure I've seen floating out there that many of you have in the toy collecting community. So not the best size comparisons right now. Again, I'm trying to condense this, but I thank you guys for watching the video, and I appreciate you guys for taking the time to tune in and take a look at the new Fox series Magneto and Professor X that I picked up today. And I hope you guys enjoy the review. Subscribe, please comment and share. See you guys later. Peace.